Hello, today I'm going to be ranking all of the Dark Souls 1 bosses. I recently did a playthrough of Dark Souls 1 as well as a randomized version, which you can check out in the description. So with it recently in my memory, I felt like I should do the tier list now. So yeah, here we go. We got God tier bosses, so just the best bosses. There can be great bosses, could be better, but solid bosses overall. You got your average bosses, just straight down the middle. You got nothing special about them, you know, those types of bosses. You got bad bosses, and just straight up delete these bosses out of the game. I don't want to see them anymore. So that is what we are rocking with. Okay, so starting off, we got Artorius. I think this one's pretty simple. I think most people have this conception of Artorius. He is a god tier boss. I think a lot of the DLC bosses got better in Dark Souls, at least Dark Souls 1, because a lot of the main storyline bosses, they were all very, very generic and easy, and the DLC kind of added more intricate move sets and made the bosses more fun, not just stand in their crotch and hit them over and over again type boss. So I think that is why Artorius is a god tier boss. And then if you include aesthetically, then edgy abyss watching man with his little dog sidekick, like, what can't you like about that, right? Coming up next, we got the Asylum Demon, which, if we're talking about the boss fight itself, it's a meh fight overall. I think it's a pretty good starting fight for level, like, you don't want your first boss to ever be insanely hard, which just stops the player from playing. I mean, it's Dark Souls, might be known for that, but I think it's an average boss in that sense, where it's a good starting point. It's got a wide open enough arena, simple move set, but he can punish you, which I think is a good starting boss. Moving on to the gargoyles. Personally, don't really enjoy this fight. I think having two gargoyles is a little annoying. Obviously, that's part of it. Part of the concept of the boss. I do enjoy that you can cut the tail. That is a fun part. The roof can get a little annoying, especially with the rolling mechanics in Dark Souls 1. So for me personally, it would be a meh boss. It's not bad, but it's not good either, I'd say. Okay, moving on to the Capra Demon. Aesthetically, I'm putting this god tier. Arena, I don't want to fight in that arena with the dogs and the ads and everything. In terms of moveset and everything else, I think that puts it right down to average. The fight itself is fun, the arena sucks, the aesthetic and the look of the boss is great. So in that sense, I think I'm putting it down to average. Who is this? This is Ceaseless, I believe. Straight to bad. It's a cheese boss. Not that fun, kind of. I don't know. I never look forward to it going into a playthrough. Nothing special about it. Not much to say there. Just a bad boss. Kind of just a filler boss. Centipede Demon. I think I'd put it meh. The fact that you, like, I don't know, the lava ring you don't get yet, so then you kind of have to parkour around the lava. And then just the boss fight itself isn't, I don't know. I always forget that this boss exists. It doesn't capture me in any sense. It doesn't do anything. It's just meh overall. Not much to say there. Quelaag, I think, is a great boss. It's got a good moveset. It changes things up a little bit considering most Dark Souls 1 bosses are very one moveset based. Quelaag was a nice change of pace, I'd say. So I think in that sense she would be a great boss. Okay, moving on to Priscilla. I think See, I haven't faced Priscilla too much because I sometimes, most of the time, just end up skipping the painted world. But aesthetically, I do like, I mean, girl with scythe, pretty cool. But the fight itself isn't that fun, and the arena isn't great, so nothing about it really does anything. I don't think it's a bad fight per se, but it's not average. Like, I'd much rather fight one of these two, I think, than Priscilla. I guess I could order them in terms of how order them in the tier itself. Honestly, this is probably correct so far. Gwendolyn. Delete the fight. I don't like running down a hallway. There's nothing cool about that. It's boring. It's a side boss. Why am I running down this hallway for 20 minutes? That's about it. Not much to it. It's just a hallway. And he's just a weird guy overall. No one likes that guy. Weird family things. We don't want to talk about it. The Fire Demon. It's a reskin, but whatever. It's got somewhat different moves at least. So in that sense, I'll put it meh. Got a cool fire aesthetic to the Asylum Demon. Overall, not too bad. Which is different from the Stray Demon, which is basically just a reskin. I don't want to face this guy twice. I think the idea of it is cool, but I don't want to face the same boss twice. That's boring. On to the Four Kings. First time going down into the arena, instantly dying. Not fun, unless you get the ring right away. But the fight itself, I think, is actually a pretty cool fight. I mean, most of the time you can just cheese it with Havel's armor and just tank through everything and just sit there wailing on him. But the fight itself is pretty cool, and then the fact that you kind of have to keep up a pace, otherwise you just get surrounded by all of the kings. So it's got a bit more depth to it than most other bosses, so I enjoy it. Gaping Dragon, I think, is a pretty cool dragon fight. Aesthetically looks cool. Boss fight itself isn't, I think it'd be high average or low great. I think I'll put it low great for now, but that might move down depending on where I put everyone else. You know what? No, yeah, we'll go high great or high average for now. I don't know. I think it's like in between. It's a good boss. It's not just an average boss, but I don't think it's necessarily a great boss either. Yeah, that might change depending on what we put next. Speaking of next, we got Nito. I really enjoy Nito. I think he's cool. Boss with ads can definitely be annoying. So I might want to put him down in great, not god tier. But the fight is very cool. The fight is very... The music that goes along to it, it kind of puts you on edge, and you have the whole skeleton theme to it. It's a very cool boss overall. So, yeah, I think I'll go great for now, because I think we got a few god tier. Yeah, there's a few god tier bosses eventually coming up. Gwen, the final boss. I think a lot of community sentiment is to put him god tier. Personally, I think he's very similar to probably Four Kings, and I don't think it's his fault. I think the fact that you can just parry him 4 times and kill him doesn't have a good look on him. As a final boss, not a good look. Aesthetically, in the kiln, with the music and everything attached to it, the lore behind it, god tier boss. Immediately. Fight itself, I think, knocks it down. So, due to no fault of Gwen, I think he's still a great boss, but the fight's a little lackluster. Hydra, I don't even count that as a boss, so I'm going to delete it from the bosses. Enough said about that. Iron Golem. This one I haven't thought about too much. I want to put it God tier only because Tarkus can solo him, but for that reason alone as well, I think it's an average boss. It's got some cool moves. It's got like a wind blast move. It can grab you and throw you off. That's kind of funny. But in terms of an actual fight, it's an average fight. It's another one of those hit his crotch until he swings at you, roll, and then continue hitting his crotch. Not too much going on there, let's be honest. Calamite. Calamite I have not faced a ton. I think out of all like dragon type bosses in FromSoft games, it's actually a pretty decently well thought out one. It's not a lot of bosses, at least the times that I've faced. Obviously the AI can change based on if he just spams one move over and over. But the times that I've fought him, he hasn't ever just flown back and forth and stalled and stuff, which is kind of what FromSoft dragons are sometimes known for. So in that sense, I kind of want to put him low great. Trying to think, I think I like that fight better than Gaping Dragon. Yeah, so I think low great is a good spot for Calamite. Okay, coming up to some pretty good bosses, I would say. We got Manus, which I think goes back to what I said earlier about Artorius. DLC bosses having better movesets. They're a little bit more challenging, and like a good challenging, not just insane damage that insta-kill. Like, it seemed like a fair way to make the boss harder, which was good. The fact that you can get little Sith to come in there and fight with you, I think is awesome. So, and just the whole aesthetic of it and everything, I think Manus is a cool looking boss. So in that sense, he is a god tier boss. Ornstein and Smo. I think community, I think, puts him god tier, and I think I would personally put him god tier as well. I think he is low god tier though. Say he, them, they are low god tier. Yeah, I think it's low god tier. It is a 2v1, but I think it's a 2v1 that they did well. Whatever, having a slower one, a faster one, you have your pillars to hide behind, you know, the classic things that have been thought out of in most of these games now. A lot of things are based off of this fight now, and obviously the aesthetic of Ornstein goes on with the old Dragon Slayer armor and whatnot. So it had a lot of impact in the games coming up. But overall, I think it's a pretty solid boss. Looks cool at a good point in the game. So overall, god tier boss. Pinwheel, I'm putting as a bad boss. Again, due to no fault of his own. It's just who's going to go into the catacombs instantly to go fight this boss as a fair fight. You're going in way too high leveled. You go in, one-shot him, and that's the boss. Nothing to talk about. Again, due to no fault of his own, bad boss. Sorry, Pinwheel. You're kind of weird, but you should be getting better. Sanctuary Guardian. I personally don't really like this boss, but I do think it was a decently well done boss. I think it was better than Fire Sage. I think it was better than Priscilla. Better than Gargoyles, maybe? Again, this is personally, I know a lot of people like this boss. I don't know. Especially you have had it where he does the one wing attack over and over, and it's just like, well, this isn't even a boss fight. You just roll back, does the one move, kill him basically. Or times where it's just annoying with projectiles and whatnot. So, like I said, personally don't really like him. But I do think aesthetically cool boss. Start of the DLC, which is exciting. Moving on to Seath. Seath is a good boss. I like Seath. But where does he fit? He's better than Iron Golem, better than Asylum Demon, Better than Capra Demon, better than Gaping Dragon, better than Calamite. I think he fits in somewhere here. I'm trying to think which one's higher up. Honestly, I don't know. I think Ceaseless higher up. I like Ceaseless more than Calamite. So in that sense, do I drop to average? No, I'll keep him here for now. Yeah, Ceaseless, cool crystal aesthetic going on. You kind of get the lore of him and everything kind of cascading all the way up as you get to him in his library, and you get the lore, and then the fight itself with the crystal blasts and everything. I think it's a pretty solid boss. Okay, moving on to Sith Dog, Sith Great. Anyways, okay, no, but seriously, Sith I think is a very cool boss. I think dog with sword and mouth equals cool and fun. And also gets you in your feels when he's at like low HP and he starts limping around trying to hit you. And then the fact that it ties in with Artorius, obviously, I think is great. The fight itself, I think, is high average. I think I could see it. Again, this is where I kind of need a tier. I should have done a tier that was just good, in between great and average. But this is kind of where good is to me. So, yeah, I think he's above Gaping Dragon. I could maybe see him above Calamite. I'd move yeah, I could do that. And go Calamite to average and Sith to great. I think those two could be interchangeable, depending on the last fight I had with them, I guess. Okay, the Tauros Demon. Where does the Tauros Demon go? Again, an early boss. I think it did well to show you that the developers aren't on your side. They're going to give you a boss just as wide as the arena that you're fighting on, with a stupid little hole that you can fall off, and archers behind you. It shows you that this game is not going to be fair to you. In terms of boss itself, I don't think anything cool. I think it's lower than Asylum, lower than Capra Demon. So I think it's probably just behind the gargoyles. Yeah, I don't think there's anything special about this fight. It's another stand in their crotch. And the fact that the toes hurt you, I hate that. Always bugs me. Yeah, I think he slots in right behind the gargoyles. And the final boss, which everyone knows where this boss goes. Straight to God tier. Best boss in the game. Everyone loves it. The floor falling beneath you is so fun to parkour in this game. Going from one side to the other while the hands are sweeping you is super fun. Just for you to jump and miss the jump and have to do it all over again. Okay, no, but seriously, delete this boss. Get him out of here. I don't like him. Anyways, yeah, that's my list. Let me know what's different. This is my opinion. This, obviously, it's not going to be the same as all of yours. So let me know what you think. Be civil, please. But, yeah. Like I said, I did a randomizer recently. If you want to watch that video, you can click here, or here, or here, or here, wherever it is. Or click it somewhere in the description. I will have a link to the video. But yeah, that's about it. That's all. That's everything. Thanks for watching. Peace.